Hey guys, happy Sunday. May the 4th be with you. In today's video, I'd like to cover the overall Bitcoin market as well as share with you information around strategy and Bitcoin. I'll be also doing technical analysis, price predictions of Bitcoin and strategy. Most of you are wondering how high can Bitcoin go up in the year 2025 and what does that mean for MSTR stock as long as we see Bitcoin getting up to new time highs, we may very well see strategy reach to new levels. If you're new to this channel, first off, thank you for stopping by. I would really appreciate hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Thanks, guys. Let's first off start off with this post from the White House. May the 4th be with you. One thing that we have to keep in mind is that we have the very first pro-Bitcoin president. That's Donald Trade Trump, Trump 2.0. We're in this golden era. We've really embraced Bitcoin. There's a lot more adopters. However, we're still in that innovation phase. There's only about 4% of people that own Bitcoin. So we're still early. I would highly recommend embracing Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin is really going to transform traditional finance. The current price, I wouldn't look at, everything in the rear view mirror and think about how Bitcoin was priced at like, $700 back in 2013. Well, all of that's the past. We can't reflect on that. We gotta invest looking at it from a forward approach. So it doesn't matter what the current price is, dollar cost average, stack sats. Why? Because Bitcoin, like what Saylor says, it's still on a discount. And this man right here, Donald J. Trump, we're going to hear a lot of news with the overall Bitcoin ecosystem. The whole Trump family is buying up Bitcoin, even the miners. We're going to see a lot of upside. I mean, with the SEC, there's changes, the Federal Reserve, all of that with, crypto czar David Sachs, Bo Hines, Senator Cynthia Lummis. There's so much backing right now with the Bitcoin ecosystem, and that's really going to drive up the crypto market. Let's take a look at a posting from Cryptos R Us. So Warren Buffett, he actually announced over the weekend. I mean, this man, 94 years old, he's done so much. We've learned so much from this man in terms of how to invest. Really, it's about long-term investing. We won't make the right decisions all the time. Stay humble. Even when we invest, we have to consider as if, we may very well take a 50, 60% loss. But overall, in the long-term course, we will make mistakes. We're not smart. Don't let emotions come into play. And now he's, really, opening up in that now that he's going to be stepping down as a CEO come end of the year, he's also alluding to the fact that it might be a good idea to own a lot of other currencies besides the US dollar. So what he's saying is that for the newer generation, Bitcoin and crypto is definitely what you should be diversifying in. This man, he made history when you think about it with his overall program. The fact that he's like the richest man in the world, why would he want to, adapt to Bitcoin? He wants to stick to his own strategy where it worked, and that's why he stuck with it. I mean, he's too late in the phase where he's like, almost like at that age where he's going to pass. But really, I think this really just shows that there's a change in the market shift. Financial institutions are embracing Bitcoin right now. It's definitely the time to adapt if you're still researching it. Saylor posts on X today. Too much blue, not enough orange. Might as well call this, got orange. I mean, strategy is stacking so many sats. There's enough orange dots to blend the blue line with like neon green now when you think about it with paint color. But overall, it'll be exciting to see what Saylor announces tomorrow for strategy with the continuation of dollar cost averaging down for the last 5 years. We're just seeing bigger dots now. It's definitely a global race, game theory, a lot more poker players at the table. Everyone's buying up Bitcoin, even like Fidelity, BlackRock. At one point, he might be the new Berkshire Hathaway company where this company will grow and bypass the Max 7, taking that risk early on 5 years ago buying Bitcoin, and now everyone is following the strategy playbook. Very exciting. Just looking at the HODL 75 strategy, close to over 500,000 Bitcoins. So, 600,000 is not too far away, getting close to that one Nakamoto. So, at one point, they will get to that 5% of the Bitcoin supply, and there truly is no second best. Here's a visual I want to lay out, just with my overall assessment. So we talked about the, prior resistance where MSTR price did get to that 340 range. Now that's the new support level. We broke through the $400 range on Friday and it hovered to like 386. But the next resistance line that we're going to retest level two is 440. Once that flips from resistance to support, we're going to, get to that level three prior resistance, all-time high of 540. This is where I'm estimating somewhere around Bitcoin price of 110K, that, prior all-time high of a Bitcoin. And once we break through that level three, then we're going to be hovering above that Ichimoku cloud nine, where once Bitcoin reaches that $200,000, which, Tom Lee, other analysts are forecasting in this 2025 year, we may very well get into that MSTR four-digit range. So I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but it's very possible that strategy does get to that cloud nine level. Let's take a look at Chris Millis. So Chris, I mean, he posts excellent things on strategy, so I would highly recommend following him. I do, cover a lot of his posts and visuals, but he's talking about how strategy is leading the digital transformation of energy by capturing low frequency energy from the dialogue world fiat, which you see in green, which is that green pill that is decreasing in value and transmuting it into high frequency energy into the world Bitcoin that is increasing in value at scale, high frequency digital energy. So inputs would be the fiat money, which has like a 7-8% depreciation value with just inflation. But through strategies model, converting that into high frequency digital energy, with the Bitcoin yield appreciation, market capitalization will grow. And like what Saylor says, it's not a money glitch. It's a digital transformation of the capital markets. So definitely bullish visual, putting that into context where strategy is just sucking up all of that fiat money from investors, with the ATM, convertible notes, and just buy more Bitcoin. That's the way that strategy will transform the overall markets. With all of that, I want to play a video clip of Senator Cynthia Lummis before we cover technicals.
I'm particularly pleased with President Trump's support of my strategic Bitcoin reserve initiative, which will address our national debt while securing America's position as the global leader in financial innovation. As Bitcoin comes into more usage, its use makes the whole system more secure, more robust, and more capable of serving our needs all over the world. We should be the global leader with this fantastic new ledger-based asset that is in a digital format that is going to be transformative of everyday economy and puts the everyday American, in fact, the everyday worker all over the world in control of their own money. What a wonderful blessing for hardworking people all over the world to have this great new technology and to have America lead the way in implementing this wonderful, wonderful innovation.
We're looking at technical analysis of Bitcoin. So where we are right now, not so much activity going on with price of Bitcoin. During Friday, we saw Bitcoin get close to, breaking through that $98,000. As a Sunday, we're seeing Bitcoin hover around that 95,000 range. So it'll be interesting how Bitcoin plays out. Will Bitcoin start running up, with the start of the market opening? It's very possible. All really depends. There's going to be a lot of big companies announcing earnings report like AMD, other tech stocks that will be announcing. So let's say with markets opening in the green, Bitcoin will very well have a big breakout as well. So we've seen Bitcoin decouple from how the overall markets are doing, but one of the key things just based on technicals is seeing volume picking up, especially with that low point of like low 70,000. So we've seen Bitcoin creep up over $20,000, hovering out of this Ichimoku cloud. This is what we want to see, especially with Bitcoin price, getting out of that gravitational pull down Ichimoku cloud and now, passing by the 50-day, 200-day simple moving average. I think Bitcoin is, definitely creeping up, getting up to the $100,000 range. It may very well be that, with this upcoming week, we can potentially break through that $100,000. I think that's like a 40% probability. But definitely in May, I do see that there's definitely potential upside of like, 65% up, for Bitcoin to, break back into that, $100,000 range. But in 2025, I do think that, we're definitely in this bull cycle where I'm forecasting around that 200,000 and we may very well see it go even further beyond that. Let's say with Bitcoin price getting to $200,000, we talked about the level 1, level 2, level 3, and then we got that level 4 cloud 9. We broke through level 1, at 340 prior resistance, new support line, with MSTR price, having that downward slope, just consolidating in this bullish pennant flag for quite some time. We're seeing higher lows established now, with that 230 levels, we're breaking out, we crossed through that $400 range, during Friday. And now the medium tier level 2 resistance is around that 440. It'll be interesting to see when we can break through that. But we had that broken multiple occurrences in December of 2024. But as soon as Bitcoin price gets to like 110K, I think we're going to get back to that prior resistance of 550K. Once we get into that territory of like 150K, we'll be somewhere potentially around that $750 range. And as Bitcoin matures and gets to that 200K range, about, 110% from where it currently is, we may very well see MSTR reach new levels. Cloud 9, 4 digits is what I'm forecasting. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video where I covered the overall Bitcoin markets as well as technical analysis of Bitcoin and strategy MSTR stock, what my price predictions are. Let me know what your thoughts are. How high will Bitcoin go actually in this cycle? How high will strategy MSTR stock follow? Let's say if Bitcoin reaches a certain level. Let me know what your thoughts are. Please leave it down in the chat and thanks. I'll talk to you on the next one. Thank you.